Hey everybody, it's Booktubeathon Day 2. Today I feel like I've gotten to a little bit of a slower start, but things are still really going good. I'm really excited. Right now I'm going to be filming a book review for Juniper Lemon's Happiness Index by Julie Israel. It's the first book that I was able to complete. I finished it on day 1, Booktubeathon pick. So I gave this book a 3 out of 5 stars. Also, I'm holding the computer because I read it as an ebook, not physical copy. So that's what I read it with, which I mentioned already, I think. So yeah, three out of 5 stars. The thing about this one was that whenever I read the synopsis, I still thought it was really interesting, but it's a topic that I feel like has been around in YA novels recently, like that's been really popular. Like let's see, I feel like there's more books that I've read that kind of like books that deal with grief. Like Beautiful Broken Things is more about bullying. I'm trying to remember, I can't even see the book that I wanted to show. I think I rented those at the library. But different books that deal with grief and that kind of thing have been really in right now, which I still enjoy, but I feel like I've kind of gotten what I wanted to get out of it already in the past books, which to me what I really like getting out of it, like what I really liked getting out of this book, was because I have not lost anyone close to me, I will never be able to understand that kind of pain until it happens to me. So I don't know how to handle helping other people. Like what is the best way to approach them? Should I say I'm so sorry for your loss, or should I just like not bring it up? That kind of thing. I have no idea what they're going through, so I really like reading those kind of books that have been in right now, like this book, to really understand how they feel and to kind of gauge how I want to approach it. Like recently someone in my life that I'm not very close to, that I've met the past couple of months, it was strange. They just like, not randomly, but she just brought up a person that she had lost and how she was dealing with the pain and how a random thing reminded her of that person, and she got really upset. And it was just so weird that I was reading this book at the same time. I thought that was really interesting. I feel like that's like not fate, but like everything kind of ties into each other. I feel like that happens on purpose. So yeah, that's what I really like getting out of that, and it's nice to understand how they go through grief. And that's another point I wanted to bring up about this book, is that I felt like the grief was really well handled. Like showing, I like the part towards the end of the book where it's like she's explaining like there's these different steps of grief that you're supposed to follow, but that's not how it goes for me. It's like a pack of cards, like that card game, and then like you get dealt out cards and things just change really quick. And I'm assuming that must be true. From what we learned at school in like our health class and that kind of thing, we're talking about like relationships and breakups. So that the closest thing I went through is a breakup, and it's a type of loss, but it's obviously not the same thing at all. And I know that it's really not the same thing. But like the feelings of like the denial and then the anger and then acceptance, all those different ones. Yeah, she was saying like how it would just go all over the place, and that's true. That's kind of how it goes, and she's never going to stop grieving her sister. But yeah, and I liked that the character, she wrote her as like she would get aggressive when she was like going through her grief. Just because she was like a female character didn't mean that she wasn't aggressive, and she was just constantly crying. She was going through all the emotions. I really appreciated that. Another thing I really liked the names of the characters in this book, like Juniper, I'm forgetting, the main character's name is Brand, Sponge. I thought that was really good. They were really good names. I really like reading books with interesting names, and even just like her last name being Lemon, thought was really unique. The beginning of the book, I really liked all the characters, and I feel like even throughout the book I would really relate to Juniper pretty well. And then towards the end they would start to bother me a little bit, and I felt like the fighting that happened towards the end of the book with all of her different friends To me, it was unnecessary, but at the same time, I understand why all that happened. It's because she was trying to help other people to make herself feel better because she felt responsible for her sister's death, like she had wished it. But I don't know, like towards the end of the book I was just getting annoyed by it all. And I was really annoyed by her parents and how they were treating her, how her mom was. I would get annoyed at a lot of the characters, but the thing is, that's normal. Her parents are grieving. That's all supposed to happen. I really, really liked Bran. And I say like, as soon as they started to date, I feel like things were weird. The way that he would talk to her and the way that things were with them in their relationship, I felt like were kind of like, I don't know if anybody else feels this way, but it seemed kind of like fishy and like, I don't know. I wasn't sure. It's like I didn't like their relationship as much once they were together. And then, I don't know, the ending frustrated me as well. I got frustrated that we never found out who you was, which I know, and like, I understand that in the book, the whole point, like she was saying herself, was that it didn't matter, that she didn't know. All that it mattered was that he still cared for her, and I get it. But of course I was annoyed because the thing that I liked about this book was that not only was it a grief story, but there was also a mystery. And throughout the book I was like, oh, I can't wait to find out, can't wait to find out, and then it kind of just like fizzled out at the end. I was a little bit frustrated by that, but yeah, I was also frustrated that Bran had to move away. But like that was just, I don't know. Lots of things in this book ended up frustrating me. But at the same time, I liked the like pop culture references that were throughout. Like I loved the part at the beginning with the Princess Diaries, because that's one of my favorite movies. Just like the references in general were like familiar ones that we all know, and I don't know how complicated it is for authors to use like actual movies, TV shows, brands in their books without having to deal with copyright issues. But I love that. I love when it's things that we recognize, so it feels more like it's in our world and it's not just some random made up brand. It's a little bit, I don't know, there's something about that in books that makes it really a lot more relatable, and I really enjoy. So I'm going to just check my list. This is my first review, and I didn't want to do a review in like a very specific order. I just kind of wanted to talk about it as I would talk just to a friend about a book, and just like my thoughts as they flow out. Let's see. Yeah, I had written that there was slow pacing at times, which there was, like scenes that to me didn't seem relevant. Yeah. And I had also said, and I agreed, this was a good book for me to start the booktubeathon with, because it was a more like YA, contemporary, quick kind of book to go through. And even though I'm saying all this, I feel like for me, the beginning of the book was like really solid. I was really like digging it. And then towards the end, I was still going through it pretty quick because I wanted to get through it. But at the same time, it was starting to annoy me for different reasons. Different things starting to bother me. But yeah, it was like an easy book to start booktubeathon with. And what I'm reading right now, that I started today, is this, which is my literary magazine. The literary magazine that I have on my shelves from Prairie Fire. Which is really good, but it's complete opposite of what I just finished. It's mostly, now that I've started to read it, I know it's Burke Sproxton's writing, stuff that he's written. He's from the prairies in Canada, and he writes about authors from the prairies and things that happen, like specific historical figures of the prairies and that kind of thing. And his writing's really good, but like, try to find a good page. This is the page I'm on right now. The writing is very dense. Everything's really tiny, so it's a little bit harder for me to go through. But yeah. So that's kind of my book review and a little bit of an update of where I'm at for the booktubeathon. I would still recommend this book, especially if you like contemporary and grief stories. I feel like for me, I've just read a lot of them already, and like I'm kind of over it. So I'm just kind of ready to move on to something different. So that's it. I'll be trying to film a video challenge for today in a little bit. So I'll see you then. I hope that your reading's going good, and I'll see you next time.